Hey folks, how you doing? Hope your week has gone well and you've had a very successful and happy one. This time last week we were preparing for the ILA Berlin Airshow. As you are aware, unfortunately we had some serious technical issues, so we left on the Saturday, but up to then, we did manage to get some footage of the static displays, A380, A350, Beluga XL, A400M, as well as a couple of other things as well. But what we did get was the Eurofighter display by the Luftwaffe. That is time counted right here on this post, and you might want to check it out. You've probably missed me actually if you've gone straight to it, but enjoy it, and we will see you at the weekend. Take it easy, cheers, bye. Hey folks, very good morning. Sorry we're late, a few technical connection issues, as you can expect when you're at a place like this with all these thousands of people milling around. It's public day number one, I believe this is. It's Saturday and we're at the ILA Berlin Airshow. Static displays here behind me, the Emirates 380 that we're going to go and have a look at in a little bit. It is the newest of the 380s, 6 months old she is, and hopefully we'll get a look on board her, but bear in mind folks, there's a lot of people here. Unfortunately, the hosts that show people around these Airbus jets have now left, so we are going to be able to look around them externally but not internally. So let's have a little look around in around about, what is it, 40 minutes or so, Jilly? How long have we got? Half an hour? Yeah, first display is in 18 minutes. Well, let's just have a little look around here then, in that case. Okay, so this is their 900, folks. And this is one of the family jets, which they use for testing and trialing new equipment, new engines, and so on and so forth. Well, not so much the new engines, but componentry and things like that. So let's just have a little look right from the back end of her APU, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? Nicely, nice piece of titanium there. That massive, great big APU exhaust. We've looked at the empennage many times on commercial passenger jets, but it looks quite skinny from a long way away, but it doesn't look very skinny from here, does it? She's beautiful, beautiful aeroplane. Can't read your comments out, folks, because I'm as you can appreciate, I am mobile. But yeah, you can see that she's definitely had a lot of use. Oh, yeah! Big shout out to to Manuel. I think it is. I think it's Manuel in the social media department, and his colleague there, sweating it out in the social media room here at ILA Berlin. Thank you for your help, sir. So, an interesting part of the A350 that you don't get to see on other aircraft is this valance here. Now, obviously, where it's squared off there, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because normally that valance would continue round, but they've obviously, in order to save space or house the air conditioning units that are in the belly there, you can see that what I'm talking about is, if you look at the Beluga, which is over there, that's what I'm talking about, the continuation of the valance, the wing valance. So and you'll look on the A380 a little bit later on, which will show you just how incredibly big that aircraft is. Undercarriage on the seat. If we were standing here with the 777 now, you would definitely see that the axle is a lot wider on the A350. You can see the brake calipers there that we've talked about so many times. What are we talking about? 2, 4, 6 calipers. There's the braking system that you can see there, normally incorporating, you know, rather a large number of discs on each of the. It's one of the pilot's kids, it must be, I'd imagine. But you can see quite neat and tidy hydraulic systems on the A350, but I think slightly smaller tyres or wheels than the 777. Vented there, as you can see. But that whole unit, you don't have to literally individually undo each one of those lugs. That's that whole system lifts off as one unit to expose the brake assembly, and the brake assembly lifts away as a single unit as well. Interesting to see how they've obviously dealt with a problem. Well, not so much a problem, but that single flap there that you can see is to cover the fact that that gear door opens and closes with the gear itself. So you can see that tiny flap there, which is the last part of the puzzle, really, I'm guessing. Beautifully machined alloy and titanium components. You can just see that size of that. See how much little travel that there is on that suspension there. Very short amount of travel, but that's really all she needs. Going on to the wing, all carbon wing, of course. See these, what they call the canoes, which is where the hydraulic arms and screws and components are housed for these big flaps that you can see there. Now this is a test aircraft, so there was obviously not any. I wouldn't imagine there would be much seating on there. Probably a small amount of seating, just for test crews and so on and so forth. Interesting. Another thing that's quite interesting is and it would be interesting to get that from a designer, but it's almost as if that has been cut out by someone who wasn't looking very carefully when they cut it out. But it's obviously there's a reason for each and every one of those. It's crazy, isn't it? There's a specific purpose behind everything that you see, of course. And this is the big Rolls-Royce XWB engine. See, in there, the core is actually not that big. It is literally a case of the size of the housing is relevant to the size of the fan blade itself. So we'll have a little look at this fan blade. Which is their titanium fan blades. See that Kevlar lining, which is the scale of it there with that fella there. Look. So that's the engine nacelle or nacelle. You can see from that line back. So it's a very heavy component. Normally it needs it does need a complete lifting hoist system to get that in place, along with a lot of people to obviously make sure that she sits perfectly. Thank you. See at the leading edge there. We've seen when we've been at Toulouse quite a few times. Let me just bring this around. So is the audio okay, Jill? It's not distorting or anything, no? Yeah, but I've just changed it. Yeah, but I've just changed the mic round to face me to. So you can see where some of that speed tape is there, folks. That is where they've trailed wiring or anything from the windows themselves. And some of these windows are blanked out. There's one of them there, which sometimes, if they're doing low-level testing, they will trail. Okay. Now, question is am I able to do this display handheld? That's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Der Eurofighter hat mit einer Spannweite von 11 Metern und einer Länge von 16 Metern sehr viel Bewegungsmöglichkeiten und ist ein sehr kompaktes und lenkendes Flugzeug.
Okay. Right, okay, Eurofighter is on its way, folks. Okay, so as we've discussed many times before, I just want to make sure that this is not distorting. Which is better, Julie? Is the mic facing me or away from me? Let me just check now. I'm just talking now. Check. And now I'm just going to turn it around. So this Eurofighter is just going to arrive right now. I've faced it away from me. Check. You can tell me which is better and which is. Doesn't make a lot of difference, or. I think I'll be able to handheld it, mate. I'm going to try and handheld it. Okay, this is the Beluga XL, folks. Now you can see exactly what we're talking about with regards to the. So I'll tell you what. Let me move over here because I've got that noisy generator pumping out a load of revs. Furthest I can get away from me. Oh, okay. Yeah, but when, but what I'm gonna do is. Just how vast that, of course it can fit A350 wing sets in it. I think 2 sets of wings can be transported on this Beluga XL, whereas only 1 set of wings could be transported on it in the earlier variants, in the original Beluga, and of course other components, including fuselage segments, engines, etc. So very impressive. I'll tell you one thing I haven't got. Oh, stand by. I need to do something here. I'm just a bit worried about this camera power. Hold up, Julie. at all. Okay, have I got time to walk back? Right, okay. Anything on ADSB in terms of its location? Oh, that'll be it, mate. Yeah. No, it'll do a slow fly in. It'll do a slow fly in. Okay, let's get out of this guy's yapping on. Right, I'm just going to have to wing this, man. Forgive the pun, but I'm going to have to wing it here. Okay. No, that's good, mate. It's really good. It's really good. Which end of the field is she approaching from, Gilly? Oh, look at that. Scoots. Is that Scoot's Dreamliner? Yeah, but that's a passenger service, isn't it? So it's a Trent 700. This is based on the A330 CEO airframe, folks. Just worried that I'm going to turn the mic around. Oh, really? Oh, great. Stand by, folks. So we'll do a touch and go and he'll go vertical when he's going to go vertical. It's coming from the east, you say? So that's to my left, yeah, as I'm looking at the runway, yeah. Here we go. I've got him. Okay, Jerry. This is never easy, man. I'm doing this all off handheld, man. Yeah, but it's handheld, Chili. I've got it. It's yeah. No, I'm not going to mention it. Here she comes. Are you sure, mate? Done? I think he's done. How was that, folks? Was that any good? Was that all right? Copy, GP. Okay, I can't hear you, mate. I can't hear you. Hello? Jilly? Yeah, now I can, yeah. Have you muted me or something? Okay, that was all right, yeah? Okay, thank God for that. Oh, blimey. Okay, this is interesting, folks. I don't know if, Jelly, you can look on the comments, but this Airbus C295, when I looked up C295 aircraft last night, it was a Spanish manufacturer. Has Airbus picked these guys up like they did with the A220, with the CS? Interesting to see a transport aircraft. Transport aircraft with shark clips, which is quite interesting. Military nice big setup, carbon props on it. I'm guessing it's the same sort of same kind of engine as the ATR. Look at that. See how big these drones are, man. Really want one of these flying overhead. Crazy, aren't they? Hey. I think this is a mock-up. Yeah, folks, we sort of like, I made the decision to not do the tower today, because there's a lot of heads up there, there's a lot of bods up there. So I would have been sort of like, you know, behind a lot of heads, because there's all, you know, guests up there and so on and so forth. So again, we find ourselves in this position where we would be queuing for quite some time to get on board this aircraft, and understandably so. So let's just have a look at her from the outside, shall we? This is the A400M, the Airbus A400M. Interesting to see. Earlier on, I noticed these flip open deflectors, which are obviously to protect personnel who are either leaving the aircraft or whatever they may be doing, but just to protect them from the prop wash coming off these huge blades. Very, very impressive What's that, GP?
Und jetzt muss ich doch nochmal nachsteuern, nachdem mir gesagt wurde, das war diskriminierend. Ich habe gesagt, wenn Ihr Sohn sich für die
Leading voice, man.
Karriere entscheidet, dann natürlich genauso wie Ihre Tochter oder alle anderen Geschlechter sich für den Weg bei der Bundeswehr. Ich weiß, dass die Bundeswehr da wirklich sehr, sehr offen ist. Also mit Ihrem Nachwuchs.
Okay, so is it collaboration? Is it? Thank you. This beauty here. It's here, folks. Eurofighter Typhoon. So these are the things that we see slung under the wings of the Eurofighters at Coningsby. This is an active aircraft. One of their special livery jets. So you can see the canard wing there, which is flipped vertically to allow access for the pilots, but is also acts as an air brake, but also as maneuverable stabilators, I'm guessing you could say. Would you say them? Call them that? I mean, they're canards, but they also act as during the movement of the aircraft, very small incremental movements. You see the mechanisms for attaching the ordnance. Pretty impressive, isn't it? That's a fuel tank. That there is an external fuel tank. There is another dummy missile. Either air to ground or air to air, one of the two. But yeah, she's an impressive aircraft. Eurofighter tape. Let's just have another look. Another look at this big old from the Luftwaffe. You remember what I was saying yesterday about how the C-17 and the A400M tail is very similar in a way. Let's just have a little look. See if we can get a look inside without actually going inside. Of course, troop transporter, vehicle transporter, carry armoured vehicles and other such ordnance. They'll push sometimes. Push containers out the back of the aircraft that are on chutes. What's this whole thing here? So is this a drop tank as well, a fuel tank? Wow, look at that! It's pretty impressive, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. It's got the fuel. It's got the filling cap on the filler cap on the top there. I think that possibly is it. Again, such an impressive, everything's massive and impressive on this aircraft. Look at the machining there on the undercarriage systems there. Huge, great big shock absorbers. Of course, this massive wing, huge wing. These engines. Look at those props, folks. Look at those props. Kind of the wrong side. Let me get the other side. Turboprop. Extremely impressive piece of machinery. Just look at these props here, ladies and gents. Refueling Pro, the air-to-air refueling. See, she's got a head-up system. What's up? Oh, cool. He's a really cool guy. His old Manuel. So a lot of some old types here, folks, as well. Let me just. This is a. I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but this is. I mean, this is. I don't know if this is an attack helicopter or it's. Or if it's a troop carrier. I think it's. Doesn't look like there's many. There's much room in there for anybody. I think this is an H90 Sea Lion. Again, this is a marine helicopter. See these grab bars. There is a. Yeah, I'm guessing it is for. Amount of maybe dropping, maybe to drop special operations missions into a into somewhere. I don't know, but I'm sure people will be explaining it on the chat right now. Get involved in the chat, folks. If you've got anything you want to add, any information about these aircraft, then please don't hesitate in doing so. Very impressive rotor system up top. Of course, this is all powered by the equivalent of what would be an APU. I think there's two. I think this is twin engined. Of course, the rear rotor there, rear rotor assembly. Exposed, interestingly enough. Balances on it, etc., etc. But you can see by that, I think, because this is a vessel-based, or it can be positioned on a carrier that has a swing tail on it, in order for it to be stored on board an aircraft carrier, I'm thinking. But you've got aircraft like that. Let's just have a look at it. Two Rolls-Royce RTM 322s. Let's just have a look here. There's nothing in English there, unfortunately. Nope. Wow, it's busy, man. It's busy. Now, this is an impressive aircraft that we're coming up on now. It's a bit like Martin Brundle's grid walk. This. See if I can get hold of. See if I can get hold of one of the pilots. So this is an impressive aircraft that we're coming up on now, folks. The Apache. Now we've talked about this before and we've seen it many times before. Oh, incidentally, Julie, somebody messaged me the other day just to say that apparently someone that he knew was flying in one of those Chinooks that we caught the other day. It's going to be a little bit difficult to... What's up? What's up? All right. See, these guys can hover below tree lines with that radar system. It's the only thing that is exposed over the tree line, so that the guy in the back seat, it's twin operators, obviously the pilot up the front and the weapons systems operator sat behind him or her, and you can see the racks there. See the missile racks. Could do. Interesting to see the raked bladelet. Is it? Oh, okay. Is it? Is it? Okay, it's not the It says Tiger on it, actually. Okay, so maybe he's right. Maybe it isn't the. It's very similar to it, isn't it? Yeah. Bloody hell. It's impossible. So this is what the. Excuse me. Thank you. Whatever it is, it's a gunship, isn't it?
Aber es ist eben eine Fettwaffe. Also wenn ich da sage, ich will genau das Fahrzeug treffen, aber zum Beispiel den High-Explosive sprengen, also Gewechtskopf drin, der hat auch eine Splitter. Weißt du da, wie man erzählt hat, man da einen Helm aufstellen, sagt, wo man hinschauen oder steht. Genau, die Optik hier oben, das machst du hier, das ist eine TV-Kamera, eine Infrarotkamera und damit Kamera sozusagen, also der Sitz damit
Thank you. He's talking about infrared systems there, so that nose-operated infrared camera. That's a serious piece of kit, whatever it is, mate. Okay, this is a bit of a bottleneck here. We're going to have to go for it. Here we go. How long have we got, Julie, for that? Is that a Eurocopter then? It's not a GP? It's not the one driving the buggy through here, is it? It was a Eurocopter, was it? Have we got a delay? Tiger Eurocopter. Apologies, folks. I'm not massively up on the choppers. Oh, so. Okay, we're through the bottleneck. Yeah, we got a delay, mate. We got a delay. Okay. Go comms, GP. Go comms. Go. Okay. I've turned it off, but it still hasn't cut off. It's a delay to cut off. Fantastic. Okay. Here's a favourite amongst many folks. C130 Hercules. I think this might be a Super Herc. I don't know. Hello. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. I think this might be a C130 Hercules, a big favourite amongst many. This is a re-engined variant, one of the latest. I think they literally just retrofitted these engines. It wasn't. I don't think they were. I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong. It may even be that these engines were retrofitted with the new hub and blade assemblies, and not even re-engined. Right. Okay. And what's happening with that then? Is that also coming in, I wonder? Doughty, that's interesting. Might not seem much to a lot of people, but I think, folks, that Doughty were the prop manufacturers of the Lancaster bomber prop blades and other bomber blades, or maybe even the fighter blades in the Second World War. So they've got a big heritage, those guys at Doughty. Again, refueling probe. Crazy, isn't it? Simple blooming windscreen wiper, like a old Morris Minor, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah, he's got a bit of a duck look about him, hasn't he? So these are the pitot tubes that we talk about, folks, which are angle of attack sensor right there, I think, possibly. And these are the pitot tubes, airspeed indicators. Oh no, that's your angle of attack. So that's the AOA sensor. Other equipment, which is laser by the looks of it. Very impressive. Very impressive carbon blade setup by Doughty. Good to see they're still making the blades. I wonder if that's the case of whether they make the blade for the A400 as well. What's up, GP? So later on in the fly past, the Luftwaffe fly past, folks, it's quite an extensive fly past, and that will be featuring those air-to-air refueling jets. Okay, here is another Eurofighter Typhoon. Now you can see why those there's not a lot of clearance there, is there, between the access steps and that canard wing. See why it's it needs to be up as high as it does. Just didn't see that intake. The aerodynamics around that intake is quite interesting, isn't it? Warfare on this thing. It's an impressive piece of equipment. It's the GBU 48. I think. Some pretty impressive equipment. These things are made very unstable in order for them to be as what we just saw displaying, folks. quite impressive. When you look at the Super Herc up against the A400, it's still smaller than the A400M. So you can see how narrow it is in comparison to the A400. Still has a, you know, quite a significant capability, but of course, you know, with improvements. Well, I mean, you can see how many troops they can fit on it, can't you? But if they needed to, they can fit vehicles like that in there. That kind of vehicle. Small tank, I'm guessing. It's amazing when you look at, when we look closely at aircraft these days and see all these little tiny vortex generators that we do, that we've noticed on the aircraft during our travels. Here's a favourite, folks. Now, the Luftwaffe, interestingly enough, are still flying the Tornado. Of course, they're waiting for the F-35 to come on stream, probably about 26, 27, they're thinking, depending on how much money they got and depending on the global situation at the time. But look at this. Believe that. Good old Tornado, man. Kind of figured out why they have outlined those windows now, either side. What I thought was originally a replacement panel, it's actually for the emergency crews to access. A bit like they've done with the door surrounds now that they've started doing on aircraft. And now you can see clearly what we're talking about when we talk about the paint around the cockpit. It's simply a lick of paint which is more or less an aesthetic feature. So those three probes that you see there on the upper section of the nose, that's something that they've done away with now. This is an earlier variant, and those probes are now, those sensors are now on board the aircraft, so they no longer have to be there, but they have retained these angle of attack sensor, first officer and captain, of course the airspeed indicator, pitot tubes, so air will literally rush in through those tubes to give you a true airspeed reading, and amongst other information. Let's see if we can let's see if we can get a walk around there, mate. Dude. Hello? Hello? Just got to walk around. Big Jet TV.
You would have to go to the front desk.
Oh, we've already done that, man. We just want to have a quick walk around.
No, sorry.
Okay, so these other guys are...
Yeah, we are the guys who do the tour, but without an appointment from the front desk, it's not possible, sorry.
All right, but they said that we couldn't, there's no possibility of having an appointment.
Okay, then that's not possible, sorry.
Okay. All right, thanks, man. Cheers. Oh, it's funny, isn't it? You got to laugh. Never mind, he's doing his job. He's only a youngster, isn't he? I've been up the front desk. I've done all of that. Look at that beautiful profile wing there. Isn't that beautiful, man? Thing of beauty, literally. And as you can see, when we see these aircraft at Toulouse, when they haven't got their wing lits, their shark lits or blended wing tips fixed, you can see there the fixed line for the wing lit. So remember yesterday, folks, when I said that there was an ATR here running on 100% SAF? Well, I was wrong. It's not an ATR. It's a similar type of aircraft, twin turboprop regional aircraft. And here she is. 100% sustainable by design. I'm wondering whether this is utilising a six blade prop system. Kind of a Texan too. Okay, let's just have a look. That's it's over there, isn't it? Okay. So Deutsche Aviation. Not sure what exactly that is. Ah, interesting. Very, very interesting, Mr. Barr.
Morgen, Schwerhauber von der Messe Berlin.
Hello.
Hi, you speak English or German?
I am English.
You
yes.
are English.
I am English, sir, yes.
Would you give a short interview? You say in the camera why you are here and what are you
well, we're live at the moment.
Okay.
Can we do it later? Is
Yeah.
that possible? Are you here?
I'm watching you.
Okay, thank you. He's run away.
So here we are at the Emirates A380 static display, and isn't she a beauty, folks? This is the most recent aircraft to be brought into the Emirates A380 fleet, and this is 6 months old, and it is Victor Sierra. For a start, look at these huge Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines. Of course, Emirates have a mix of both the Trent and the GPW, General Electric Pratt & Whitney consortium engine. But this is the pure Rolls-Royce Trent 900, and we're very proud that they chose the Rolls-Royce as the engine of choice for their last ever 380. Last ever A380 to come out of the production line. 6 months old. Again, these are titanium blades, individually blown. A very complex manufacturing process for those blades. And forward of that, you can see that lining there is to protect the intake of the engine, but also to protect the casing should anything happen during flight. for example, a blade off, where it will contain all of that implosion, so to speak. Very, very rare. The only time we've ever really seen it happen was on the Qantas A380, which was masterfully brought back to base with the aircrew working fantastically to troubleshoot everything when they couldn't actually physically see the engine, other than from maybe from the windows inside. Now, one very interesting factoid that one of the engineers told me earlier on was that the wing. Now, you see how thick that wing root is, look at it right up to the wing root. You can see it's just so thick. Now, what is interesting is that all the hydraulics. Let me just move this mic down here. Okay, it might be a little bit. No, this is even though this is a live aeroplane, so I'm going to take that mic away because I'm pretty sure that is a little bit too distortionate. So the size of this wing root here, folks, is the reason why it's so thick is because the wing itself, normally on a sort of like a normal commercial airliner, a lot of the hydraulic systems and most definitely the ice packs, as they're known, or the air conditioning units, are actually housed inside the belly of the aircraft. On the A380, purely because of the fact that she has got to lift 35 tons of undercarriage. Look at that, ladies and gents. We've seen that closing many times as they've passed us. She's got 6-wheel assembly either side in the body gear, 4 either side on the wing gear. No steering mechanisms on these like they did on the 747s, or like they do on the 747s. But in order to house all of that undercarriage, they've had to move the hydraulics and the air conditioning systems into the wing itself, which is why that wing is so thick. I mean, to be honest with you, it's probably just a good thing anyway, because of literally the size of the aircraft dictates how big the wing needs to be. And I don't know if you're getting a sense of scale here, but look at the inside of that. Look at the size of that forward leading edge slat. They're the slats that move forward to extend the wing, and right across the whole aircraft. It's just, everything is just so immense. And that goes to show what precision is involved in manufacturing these engines. The tolerances are within microns for those blades to move within its casing. And then you can see how small the core of the engine is. You can just about see the core of the engine through that. And what you can see around the side of it is where most of 70% of the air that flows past that engine, into that engine, flows past the core, which is a high bypass ratio turbofan. That's the reason why it's given that title. So all of these wheels, apart from the rear 2 sets of the, that's why you generally see most of the A380s have a clean, always looks like a clean set of wheels on the back set of the body gear, because that is not braked. No braking systems on those, but 16 wheels. 16 wheels in the main gear are braked, which is just fantastic. Again, as I showed you on the 350 earlier, if you look into your car, look down at the braking system, you'll see the calipers. Those are the calipers there that you're seeing. and you can see that this is a relatively new aircraft, just generally by her overall cleanliness. So a little walk round and see if we can just give yourselves an idea of the vast size of this aeroplane. Again, so as you can see there, first officer and a standby pitot. So there's a standby pitot, there's a backup for a backup. And there is the angle of attack sensor. She's a live aeroplane right now. She's being powered by these ground power units. Normally, that's something that would be hooked up at the airport. So these ground power units are going to give the aircraft its power while she's on the ground. She's leaving at 8 PM tonight. That's what we hear. There's the intakes for the air conditioning units, and there you get once again a clear idea of just how big that wing is at the roof. Just an enormous piece of engineering. Right, let's have a walk out and around the back, see what we can get. It's got a very stubby nose on him, isn't she? Stubby that nose is. Big boopy nose. Housed behind that is a simple radome. Well, I say simple radome, but it is a dish. I was hoping I might get around. Look at that! Look at that shot there, folks. See, she's full of fuel. She's flying back. I'm guessing. She's flying back to Qatar tonight, 8 PM, maybe positioning somewhere, I don't know. The size of the, you can clearly see the vortex generators over the wing. Now when we, next time when you watch Big Jet TV and we see a 380 taking off, you'll see the vortex flowing over the wing. That's what causes that vortex. Those vortex generators, or splitters as they are sometimes also known. But look at the size of the canoes under this thing, man, to house the hydraulic systems. And to be honest with you, I've had enough queuing from Terminal 2 that I think we're going to give that one a miss. Yeah, look. Goes all the way up there. Goes all the way up there, man. Yeah. So you can see how clean the front undercarriage is here. No braking systems on the front undercarriage, but she's nice and clean. Very little amount of travel on that front gear, but it looks little, but it's enough when you equate it all to the size of the aircraft. Landing lights there, taxi lights. And then always amazes me when you see those big giant springs there. Those springs are literally to aid in the undercarriage hydraulic systems, because it is just one hydraulic ram that controls the closure of the undercarriage. And then of course in front of us you have those big huge doors which we see when they come past us at places like on top of the Hilton Garden Inn. But yes, those springs are used to aid the retraction of the undercarriage, also on the big main gear as well. See the springs right there. So, as far as I'm aware, this dimension-wise, I believe the XWB, Rolls-Royce XWB, Trent XWB, that is. The reason it's a shame that we're not able to show you folks, but I'm sure that at some point in time we'll get on board an Airbus 350. I think there's just a bit of a breakdown in communications here this weekend. Bit of a shame, but hey, we can try again tomorrow. Maybe see if we can do something off air. But explained it a few times. The reason she is given the title, the XWB, is extra wide body, that is because she's not totally cylindrical as you see with the likes of the 787, 777, A330, etc, etc, traditional aircraft body profile. She is actually sort of like, if you imagine taking a plasticine, a piece of plasticine that's circular, and slightly squeezing it at the sides, ever so slightly. Hello. Then that gives you an idea of exactly what's going on there. It's ever so slightly increased at the top of it, and then in fact to be honest with you, that's probably the wrong analogy, because if you squeeze it, it gets narrower, doesn't it? But it's the edges are ever so slightly, the sides are ever so slightly leveled off, and as a result of that, they've just got more cabin capacity, I believe. Now, the other thing that we've talked about before was why it is that Airbus were not able to take their old Beluga family jets or aircraft and utilise them for normal cargo operations. Well, there you go. There's the reason why, folks, is because there is no operational K-lift system that has an extension on it and is able to reach over the flight deck, as you can see there. So it would be, unless they developed one specifically, which would be something that they'd have to take with them, then it just, even that wouldn't work, because they'd have to get it off and get it on. So the only real potential opportunity I could see with their Belugas, their old Belugas, being used as freighters would be to convert them with a sodding great big cargo door, main deck cargo door at the side of the aircraft, much as they do with passenger to freight conversions. So there you have it. Cluster of lights on the 350 front gear. Much more spindly compared to the A380, as you can see. More or less the same amount of travel. But generally these things are set up pretty stiff anyway, so they'll be quite highly pressurized. I think they're a mixture of air, maybe nitrogen inside the strut system there, oil as well. I mean, I'm not sure whether it's one specific system or what, but I'd imagine they're gas filled. Now you can see here as well, folks, which see that little box there. light on it. Well, see where the door is flipped open. You can see the other side is closed. Where the door is flipped open there, right there is where the ground operations team member will plug his intercom. The comms guy will plug his intercom into that little box. But also within that, there is also a pin which they will insert, which then switches off the system, deselects the system between the flight deck and the main undercarriage steering mechanism in order to allow the tug, which is, believe it or not, as simple as that, where they'll clamp it to that. And that disengages the steering mechanism and allows the undercarriage to be completely turned at full rotation without the fear of it interfering with the normal system, which would potentially damage it. So that's what you see if you're ever up the front of an aircraft and you see the tug operator walking away, or whoever it might be, the comms guy walking away from the aircraft with a pin and a tag in his hand, showing it to the pilot. That will indicate that he has removed the pin and that the undercarriage steering mechanism is now back to operation for. Now that's interesting. It's back to full operation for the flight crew. Look at the panelling on the Beluga. Individual panelling, crazy, isn't it? That will all be segmented and attached in segments. Always seems a little bit sort of like, I don't like to use the word, but it almost looks like a botch job, doesn't it? When you look at the panelling there, there's a reason for everything there. Strengthening panels, I think they may be, but very interesting. Like we said before, folks, this is modelled, well, it actually is an A330 airframe, the CEO airframe, very popular. I'm guessing. Hello,
Jerry?
Yes.
My name is Arun. I follow you from Big Jet TV.
Oh, hello.
But I worked with you a few years ago for the Emirates inaugural to Stansted.
Oh, right.
I
yes.
coordinated the shoot for you.
How are you?
How's everything?
Nice to
so
see
nice
you.
to see you.
Yes.
Congratulations, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much indeed.
Just a matter of time. You got what you deserved.
Oh, that's very kind.
Such a pleasure to see you.
Oh, well, it's
You
lovely
did
to see you too, man.
An amazing job.
Thank you
And
very
so
much
nice.
indeed.
And I kept telling everyone, we worked with him much before than anyone else got to work with you.
That's brilliant.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Much
Take care.
appreciated.
Take care.
Take care. All the best. Bye bye. Oh, what a lovely fella. What a lovely chap. Isn't that nice? Oh, I'm welling up. But look at how the flight deck has been, how that whole front end, folks, has been completely remodeled to allow the flight deck to be sloped down in order to house that huge system above it, which is just. We've talked. I think I've either talked to a Beluga pilot or maybe online. I'm not sure, but in saying that it's not massively different in flying than flying a normal aeroplane. Even when you've got the top, because you would imagine that it's top heavy, wouldn't you? But not the case. Not the case, I'm led to believe. But that is just an incredible piece of engineering. And when you're up close, when you're away from her, you can see a big broad smile as well, which is fantastic. I think Airbus have done a fantastic job with that. A really good job with that. And okay, let's just go and have a look at those stabilisers at the back, which we've seen before. But just because of the sheer size of the aircraft's bulbous size, as you can see there, it's the fuselage itself, the upper section, is obviously interfering quite substantially with the airflow over the vertical stabilizer. So what they've lost there, they gain by these vertical fins that are at the end of each of the horizontal stabilizers. They're not moving structures, they don't have rudders on them or anything like that, but they obviously aid in the stabilization of the aircraft because of the fact that she's quite a lot of the airflow affected by that big. She's a big girl, isn't she? Again, Trent 700 engines.